All right. What it do, baby? It's your boy Baki back with another one. It's been a while with some videos. We've been doing a lot of shorts and stuff lately, but we're back at it. They finally released a trailer for the Marvel Zombies animated show. I'm a huge Marvel Zombies comic book fan, and I was really interested in this in the What If. I thought that's what they were going to do with the What If, was they were going to bring out Marvel Zombies immediately, but it looks like it took them a while. I do not know if they're going to be following the comic book or if they're going to be following the What If line. This will probably tell me in the first couple minutes of this storyline to see, and I'd probably be able to tell you pretty fast, but we will find out. Let's jump right into it. If you haven't done so before, please hit that subscribe button. We're really close to 1,000 subscribers. I've been grinding real hard this year, so we'd love to have you join. I do reviews, reactions, trailer reactions, you name it, man. I'm pretty much doing it nowadays, so let's get into it. Following preview is rated TVMA. Ooh.
Let's go.
Then it shows like one drop of blood. Marvel Animation presents.
Is there a virus infecting your system?
All the Avengers are dead. And they're coming for us.
All right, we got a world to save.
Okay, my question was answered, sadly.
Namor.
Blade?
Shit.
Oh my God!
Damn, that was clean. That was freaking clean. Is that Blade?
Oh, that's how you do that then.
Wow.
Interesting. Well, so it answered my question. They're not following the timeline, the storyline of the comic. And that sucks because the comic gets really interesting later on. Like, it starts off very cliche, but later on, once like somebody cuts off Hawkeye's head and you find out that actually doesn't kill the zombies. Like, a zombie stays alive, and after so long, they actually lose their desire to feed and all this stuff. It gets really interesting in the comic book. So I'm kind of sad to see that they're not doing it that way. This is totally from the What If, just kind of brought further along. You can kind of tell because of who you're seeing. A lot of these characters weren't really prominent in the Marvel Zombies, and the fact that they have Thanos doing the Infinity Gauntlet thing, if you didn't know, in the Marvel Zombies comic book, Hulk smashes Thanos's head in like 2 seconds. It's like one of the first pages of the you know, he doesn't really make a good Blade if this is supposed to be Blade. I don't know if this is supposed to be Blade, but yeah, Thanos doesn't even make it like the first 3 panels. He gets his head smashed, and then they all try to eat his brains, and then they find out that zombies can't eat zombie brains. They find it like repulsive. They can't eat it. They have to feed on new things, and it has to be alive flesh. That's actually what satisfies them for a little bit anyway. You know what I mean? They can't, dine on other things. But you find all that out in the comics, and it gets really interesting. Like, they end up traveling space. They become cosmic. And it's like a main crew. It's like Spider-Man, Hulk, Iron Man, Cap. Actually, I don't think Cap's there. Hawkeye for a while, then Hawkeye ends up getting KO'd, and somebody else too. But like, there's like a main crew of Marvel zombies that end up like getting gradually stronger, and then shit happens back on Earth. I don't know. It's a very interesting story. Obviously, it's not like, nothing canon or anything like that, but it's just a fun time. So I'm gonna look at this the same way. I'm kind of sad it isn't the same story. I would like for Marvel to stop making everything so original with the same ideas, names, as other concepts that have been created before it. Example, Civil War, Infinity War. I mean, they're doing it more and more too. You know, this Marvel Zombies, What If. You know, they're not really they're just using the template name What If and then making their own version of What If. But they could just do that. Does that make sense? Like, you already have it. If you're already planning on doing that, then just do that. But then when they do this thing where we're doing the What If series, and then they show you Marvel Zombies in the What If series, you get excited for what you think is coming. That's a Marvel Zombies fucking animated show. And it's not. It's a fucking different Marvel Zombies that they're pushing as Marvel Zombies to the point that they've even fucking put the logo. I think that's crazy. That this is literally the Marvel Zombies logo. You didn't even do anything different, and that you have the audacity to say it's the same thing, and it's not the same thing, and you know it's not the same thing, but you're portraying it as the same thing. That's what I don't like about Marvel doing that sneaky shit all the time, man. They do that a lot. They do this whole, oh, we're not really in that, we're not doing that, we're doing this, but then you're naming it that, and you're trying to promote it as that. You see what I'm saying? It's very disingenuous, and I don't really like that aspect of the MCU. I really, really wish they would just stop with the whole MCU shit, let that universe go, and start anew, but start where everything can just be fresh, bro. I know people want to see all these characters, and do you really care? Do you really care after Endgame? Do you really? Most people don't. So just let this shit go. Stop tying everything back to the What If seasons and all this bullshit. Marvel Zombies should have just been a depiction of Marvel Zombies comic book, which wasn't really that great, I guess. Most people agree with me on that, I'm sure. Like, it wasn't crazy good, but the excitement for me to see those scenes was what I was hoping for in Marvel Zombies. Even though it's not the best comic book on the planet, I think Deceased is better. I think DC does a much better job of Deceased than Marvel Zombies did, but they had an extra decade after. Marvel Zombies is pretty early, man. That shit came out, dude, I don't even know. I want to say I read that shit in like 2007 or 8 or something like that. So again, I understand them doing something new, but I wish they could find a different way to name it or title it or rephrase it to not make it so this literally prevents us from ever having a true Marvel Zombies like adaptation. Does that make sense? Like, now we'll never get a true Civil War adaptation. Now we'll never get a true Infinity War adaptation. And some of these things you want, some of these things you don't want, but you never know if, like, sometimes, very rarely, animated version of a comic book is like better, right? Perfect example for me is The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. Besides the beautiful monologues of Batman, everything else is intact in that movie and then magnified. Instead of just like 6 panels of Joker and Batman fighting, we get a long 10-minute scene where Joker's legit running from Batman, and Batman cannot keep up with this motherfucker as he's just like killing people in the at the carnival. So it's just one of those things where your mind didn't even realize how far that moment could and should go, or how far it really went for them to get to the tunnel of love. You see what I'm saying? And that made it just that much more interesting and epic, because it didn't feel like it was just 3 steps, he's at the tunnel of love. It felt like Batman was chasing this motherfucker, and even in the last moments of chasing him, so much death was still, Joker was still putting so much death behind him that Batman then had to like walk past. It was like very like beautiful in a weird way, and you don't really get that depiction in the comic book. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily better, but I'm just saying the animated version of it made it a different interpretation enough for that both sides hold up well. I enjoy reading the comic and I enjoy watching the animated version. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm looking for in Marvel, bro. I want them to do what DC used to do. DC's not even doing it anymore. They did Crisis on Infinite Earths and made it drastically different than Crisis on Infinite Earths. Why? Why are you doing this? You can make it Crisis on Infinite Earths 2 or some shit. You don't have to name it Crisis on Infinite Earths and then destroy everything that was just to make a new story. I just don't really understand that aspect of these companies. DC's starting to do it too. They're trying to do what Marvel's doing. They're looking over the pond. They're going, these guys are naming these important, iconic events, and then they're making it their own. Why don't we do that? And they try to with Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it ended up being a fucking disaster. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know nobody's going to listen to this video. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not going to hit 100,000 views or some shit, but I'm telling you, man, just don't do that. Just make some original shit. Call it, you know, Marvel Zombies, but put something else on it to identify it as a different interpretation of Marvel Zombies, instead of people who fucking like Marvel Zombies coming to expect something and then they're getting entirely different medium than they're expecting and entirely different content than they're expecting. That's the problem. You see what I'm saying? But besides that, this looks pretty awesome. I mean, if this is Blade, though, I don't even know. Is this Blade? Who is this? He's got like Moon Knight shit, though. He doesn't even look like Blade. It looks like Moon Knight. Let's see what the comments say. Maybe the comments will tell me. Okay, so it is Blade who took up the mantle of Moon Knight. That's what people are saying. That's a funny one. That was so sick. That's so satisfying.
Whoa. That's how you do that then.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Looks good, but I'm, you know, cautious. I didn't really like any of the what ifs besides the first season. And even the first season, I didn't really enjoy. So we'll leave it at that. All right, y'all. That's going to be it for me on this one. I hope y'all have a great evening, morning, noon, night, whatever it may be for you when you watch this. If you haven't done so, please, please, please hit that subscribe button, baby. We're going to be pushing out content as much as I humanly possibly can. I just found out that I have to move again, and we just got settled into this place. Our landlord needs the house back, man. So I'm gonna need y'all help. I know nobody's gonna make it to the end of this video, but I'm gonna need y'all help, man. It's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be a rough few months for me. But I'll see y'all on the next one, all right? Try to make it. Peace.